Dr. Raju Mandal from Assam University as a chairperson. I may now request Dr. Raju Mandal to take his seat. I may now request Ms. Hema Hazarika to felicitate our chairperson with an Victorio, kit, and a talking gift. Thank you, Hema. I may now request today's reporter, Pinak Dey, to take his chair. And I request Hema Hazarika to felicitate Pinak with an Victorio. Thank you, Hema. Hema, may I now request you to introduce Dr. Raju Mandal about the awareness program.
Dr. Raju Mandal, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Assam University, Sister. Postdoctoral San Jose State University, Texas, and his topic was climate change impact on rice yield in Assam. After receiving his bachelor, master's, and PhD in economics from Guwahati University, he was accepted in the Raman postdoctoral fellowship in 2012. In November 2009 to May 2010, short-term doctoral fellowship awarded by Indian Council for Social Science Research. In June 2004, Junior Research Fellowship under All India UGC National Eligibility Test. In 2004, Gold Medalist in Economics under Guwahati University. In 1998, second rank in Higher Secondary Final Examination under Assam Higher Secondary Education Council. Teaching and research interests, economics of environment and natural resources, agrarian economics of social sector. He has made a number of academic visits abroad and actively engaged in research activities and has done many projects. There are many number of research publications in reputed journal in his account. With this, I welcome Dr. Raju Mandal to this technical session 4 of ICSSR sponsored 3D National Seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema. Now let's start the session, and it's now chairperson's time.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everybody. So in this session, we have total 4 papers, 3 on offline and 1 online. So may I now request the first presenter, Dr. Deepan Ghosh, to present this paper. We have around 45 minutes in the session, so I will give 5 to 6 minutes for presentation and the remaining 1 to 2 minutes for discussion.
Good morning, respected chair, Professor, my teacher, Dr. Raju Mandal, and all the faculty members are present here. So, my topic is basically a very uh, usual one, that is economic development in Assam and startups, technology and innovation. So they are, uh, telling from last almost 4, 5 days, what I have come to know about startups. Uh, Let me be really bold enough to make a very strong statement here, and I think I would not be, kind of too much wrong in my statement. There is startups. There is a lot of hue and cry uh, regarding startups in academics, in business world in India since last couple of years. But startups is not a new concept at all. It is already there in our, theoretical foundation of economics. So if I recall here, Professor Schumpeter, innovation theory of profit, long back, in his concept, path-breaking concept of creative destruction, in his book, capitalism, socialism, and democracy. These things are already there, in the literature. So my first, statement is that startups is not a new concept. Number one. Number two, so we need to, little bit critic about this new hue and cry with the startups, this technology and innovation. It's 1970s or 1980s, this model, developed in kind of in some Western countries in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is this linked with technology, innovation, ideas, and startups. There are a lot of literature in economics, endogenous growth models are there, and all these things that ideas, innovation, and technology positively contribute to economic growth. All these things are interlinked, sir. But India as a country, and Assam in particular, should we follow and copy paste the Western ideas? Or is it our model of development? These are some, critics. We need to be a little bit critic. And these days, the number of critics depleting day by day. So with this, I started a little bit. It's not a new, nothing, the economic development in Assam, startups, technology, and innovation. So these startups can be defined as a young, dynamic company built on technology and innovation, searches for an unknown business model, new ideas, in order to disrupt, existing markets or to create new ones, financed by individual or group of individuals. So everybody is, interested in Indian market because of, huge population size and demographic dividend and all these things. It's my assumption that the Western and developed countries are being dried up by their kind of saturation level. And if I recall here, Professor, Robert Solow, divergence model, then that is why the underdeveloped countries or developing countries have the probability of higher growth, higher economic growth, and India is the best example of that. It's fastest growing economy, which is not dried up. There is huge scope in India, here and there. So demographic dividend, market size, higher education level. You saw the upsurge in the higher education institutions since independence and this last 2 to 3 decades. These are all these, the strengths of India for startups. And India ranks the third in the world after UK and US in this model. So 90,000 startups and 107 unicorn companies emerged in as part of the study of Anurag Thakur and the Indian minister. But again, that we don't know how many of these startups, could not progress or something like that. So there is a huge scope. There is also a kind of little research papers are there. The success of startups in India. That another area we can use. So my paper next that India startup, we all know this is 2016 with startup policy, startup India policy. That's Skill India, Startup India, Stand Up India, Mudra, and all these things are interlinked. Digital India. This is not, kind of one not in isolation to another. Everything, every aspect is interlinked. Assam also joined the campaign in 2017 with Assam Startup Policy, which includes 4 pillars such as digital startup ecosystem, then state-owned incubators, then incentives and academic intervention. Again, my question, if I stay in this area, then my first paper will be whether startup a new model, a kind of critique. Incubators, how incubators are different from training centers that are prevalent for building for making entrepreneurs. How they are different from training centers. So these are new words or new jargons here. Incubators or something. So these are things we need to understand. Academic intervention, all these things. So the basic, objective of any policy, including the, Assam startup policy, to enhance, employment generation, giving jobs, investment, all these things. These are all known facts. So objectives of startup policy to facilitate the development. So these are the things. So this is just an economic scenario in Assam. It is per capita gap in India and Assam is growing day by day. So this is just and it is a compound annual growth rate of NSDP and NSDP per capita. Then it is the rank. Just stay on this slide. It is the rank in Assam in easy 1980, 81, 89, 90, 89, 90 rank 21, 22 in NSDP, then per capita. Then 1990, 91, 91, 99, 2000, 26, 25% rank. Then little improved in 2011, 12, 2018, 19, the rank reached to 10 and 16 in per capita income. So it is Assam is a poverty, amid plenty. And in all these things, the theories and all these known facts, availability of resources and all these things, how do we fit the startup model here? This is a challenge. So these are some graphical presentation of the economic scenario of Assam, and which indicates that Assam is lagging behind, in the economic development. And sectoral composition. Sectoral composition is the tertiary sector still dominating. In 2018-19, the tertiary sector, there is a little sleep in the tertiary sector, and that sleep has been picked up by the secondary sector. And you see the primary sector just a little sleep, about 2%, and secondary sector has been growing in 2018-19. So tertiary sector is still dominating, but secondary is emerging sector in the economy of Assam. No, nothing new in these things. So go to the next slide. Then these are some indicators, some economic parameters which show that Assam is, not a very developed state. So again, it's economically, lagging behind the national in India level. So you see the number of internet subscribers, then FDI inflow is very minimal. Then, okay. Now coming after having this economic scenario, coming back to the startups and economic development in Assam. Then
you have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. So my paper has concluded with these things that Assam has huge resource endowments. Digital support also government is giving under this policy. Then demographic dividends. Then stable and dynamic government funding facility and all these things. And also some installation of incubated startup centers are there in Assam. Given the policy and also the joining of the campaign, Assam has a bright future. Assam has a prospect for growth of startups, and it will obviously contribute. Any step will obviously contribute to the economic development of Assam. And there are some studies also that ideas and innovation contributes to economic growth. So with this, a prospect is always there. Prospect is always there, and you see if you see the current status of the startup ecosystem in Assam as per 2021 report of the Government of India, 2021 report, 400 plus registered startups, 10 plus incubators, and as per the report, Assam has been categorized as the leader in the startup campaign. But again, that regional disparity is always there, and Assam is not compared with other developed cities and all these things. So there are 70 plus startups connected with mentors, 30 plus women-led startups, 50 plus grassroots innovation supported by youth. These are the facts. So again, so I conclude here, prospect is there, challenges are always there. But my question, again, we need to ponder about that, a critic of startups and it is not our own model, it is an imported idea which already existed long back 1970s and 80s. And Professor Schumpeter, if we can recall, and I am stressing here the innovation theory of profit. So always the foundations are always there. So we should not be very much ambitious about startups. This is already there, and we need to think in this line and develop our own model of Indian model of business, which actually problems are there. What are the problems? Always be there, kind of innovation is always there, creative destruction is always there, but a lot of threats are also there in this imported. This word is very important. That always, especially the Indian, everybody cannot climb up and all these things. That always, the threats, serious threats are there. Serious threats are there regarding the Indian scenario and small business owners. Okay, already existing in the market. So we have to build our own model of business where everybody can prevail actually. So considering the huge number of population there. So this is what I conclude, and I will, if I stay here, then I will redesign my paper in this line of thoughts. Thank you.
Now this paper is open for discussion. Any question, please? No question? Okay, so then I have a few comments.
So can you please throw some light on how startup businesses helped in women empowerment, especially in Assam, as your paper is focused on Assam?
Yeah.
That's why I have asked this question. Startup business contributed in women empowerment or not?
So first of all, you are absent in my preliminary introductory statements. First of all, my statement was very bold enough. The startups are not new things. And women empowerment is also not a new thing. It is a reframing that imported idea from Western countries to fit in our system. Enabled with IT revolution and engaged with this. These are already there. And if you recall Professor Schumpeter, innovation theory of profit, he told creative destruction. Then always boom and bust will be there. So regarding women in entrepreneurship, the scenario in Assam is not at par with Karnataka and all this Andhra Pradesh and these in bright sun glittering cities of India. And regional concept of regional inequality is always there. So Assam is not a just joined the campaign in 2007, and startup concept it's a concept. It's a concept. Startup concept emerged in 2015 or 16 after this government came. So the status of Assam is not very encouraging, and this includes also your women entrepreneurs. But you see, resources are there, opportunities are there. It is the startup. What startup is doing? Startup is changing the mindset. But my use that changing the mindset through the incubations and all these things. But what is the ground reality? If we do not change the ground reality, then we face your mind. You have changed your mindset. Has the government, has the society has changed the mindset? You as an educated people have changed the mindset. Has the government, has the society has changed the mindset? If you go to the ground, then you face challenges. So women entrepreneurs, I am not very so the status is not very encouraging. Okay.
Rosh, I have one observation here. You see, when we write paper, we follow some structure of the paper. And what I feel is that research gap, research question or main focus of the paper, then data source, methodology, all those things are missing here. So I hope that you will look into this matter next time whenever you are revising the paper. Okay?
Yes, they are in my full paper, but these things are missing. The research questions, research gaps.
But as audience,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would like to see what is the research gap.
Yeah.
Because that may give us clue to pursue this study in a different angle.
So
research gap is important for us.
yeah, it is not in the slide, sir. It is not in the slide, but already in my statement, I made this statement. So there is a huge research gap is there regarding the success of startups in India. Number one. Number two, the critical analysis is very essential. I think no research. I think no research paper is still there.
They are fine.
No, not in my paper, but it is not in my slide, but in my opening statement it is there, sir. And it was for the audience. That's a critical analysis is very essential, whether it is a new concept or not. So research here, no study I think from. If you find a study here, is it a new concept? Prospects and challenges and all these things that we are startups. If you open, if you Google, what are the prospects? What are the challenges? What are the problems? Is there any paper? I have not found out since my last 15 days or 1 week. If we search the internet, this is the easy way of searching. Is it a new model? What is new in it?
Okay, thank you. Next paper, I would like to request Dr. Shumokan Vishwas.
Respected chairperson of the technical session, and august audience of the dais, very good morning to you all. I'm not a student of economics, I'm a student of philosophy, and I stand here to talk about an issue on business ethics, actually. So the title of my paper is Corporate Social Responsibility and Discourse Ethics, Relocating the Link. So corporate social responsibility, as we all know, is a built-in self-regulatory principle of social concern for the business organizations that embraces responsibility for the company's action and encourage a positive impact through its activities on the environment, consumers, employees, communities, stakeholders, and all other members of the public sphere. The moral conceptual exaggeration of the term stakeholder with an increased scope of the typology of the term may range even beyond its immediate conceptual patterns that has more deeper claims to the range of protection that CSR is all up to. The concept of ethical discourse brings within its scope those extended categories of the stakeholder community which are often less recognized by the thinkers of business management because of their non-immediacy and abstractness. Now, this model of discourse ethics and its link with corporate social responsibility, it's a new area, not so new area. So this the model of discourse ethics has been put forward by one of the major thinkers, Frankfurt thinkers, the second generation Frankfurt thinkers, Jürgen Habermas. So the entire paper follows Jürgen Habermas on his theory of communicative action, on which this the entire ethics of discourse ethics is founded. So the paper basically focuses on a gap between communicative gap between the stakeholders. The stakeholders conceptually it has been extended to from the concept of immediate stakeholders to the concept of some abstract stakeholders. So my paper makes its dialectical departure on the assumption that corporate social responsibility presupposes a public sphere that has its impact on all the individuals at stake involved. A public sphere is theorized by Jürgen Habermas as an alternative to a framework of universal moral judgment based on isolated forms of rational conceptualization of norms. Public sphere is a social order that ultimately depends on the capacity of the participants to recognize their intersubjective validity of the different moral claims on which social cooperation depends. The modality of discourse ethics functions on the basis of the particularities of the problem of morality on the setup of a socio-ethical pluralism. The project at hand tries to put forward a technical proposal for the development of that public sphere. The scope of the modalities of corporate social responsibility on a universal ethical framework is untenable. Habermas is optimistic about developing the public sphere through his ethical communicative action that presents itself in the theory of discourse ethics. According to the theory of communicative action, speakers or those involved in the case are involved in the case at hand agree to a common consensus, common moral consensus, because they are motivated by a rational justification, which itself is based on a discursive model of rationality. The link that CSR as an ethical principle presupposes in its conceptual development in relation to discourse ethics lies in the formulation of the public sphere and its interest in its shares. Habermas's theory of discourse ethics is based on his theory of communicative action, published in 1985, which actually necessitates speakers to coordinate their actions and pursue the individual and collective goals on the basis of shared understanding, that the goals are inherently reasonable and merit-worthy. Communicative action is distinguished from strategic action in a business module on the ground that strategic action seeks to fulfill an agenda which is isolated and devoid of discursive qualities. As a result, does not come necessarily to a rational conclusion. Strategic actions aim to conceive others, to convince others to come to agree to a decision that will lead to success of those involved. Communicative action, on the other hand, is based on a rational ground of discursive understanding with the involvement of a free and informed individuals. Communicative action seeks to provide a rational ground to those ethical judgments that are often isolated of the value judgments based on norms of particular actions. Social interaction of a business module in one-on-one interactive basis is based on particularities of demands and plurality of possibilities of choices. This pluralism is not devoid of its rational qualities, however. It can then become the force behind this communicative ethics can become the force behind shaping the recognized plurality of the modes of social interactionism. This theory of communicative action has a decidedly linguistic bat as it defines speech act as lying on reason and justification for the truth claims to be rationally valid. By creating the need for the speakers to justify themselves, Habermas creates a definition of acceptable speech that can be validly implemented within the theory of communicative action. Speakers agree because they are motivated by rational judgments and their arguments are valid because they are so justified. Consider,
You have 1 more minute to wrap up.
okay, so let me jump into some of the technical things that Habermas suggests, and I included them on this on a link with the corporate social responsibility. These are 3 points. There are 3 points, technical points suggested by Habermas himself. So these are universalization principle. There are 3 principles of communicative engagement, rational communicative engagement, and communicative ethics. Universalization principle: for a norm to be valid, the consequences and side effects that in general observance can be expected to have for the satisfaction of the particular interests of each individual affected must be such that all affected and accept them freely. Number 2 is discourse principle, which suggests that only those norms can claim to be valid that meet or could meet as the approval of all affected in their capacity as participants in the practical discourse, that means the community of the stakeholders. And the consensus principle, which suggests that free participation in a discourse is necessary to formulate a valid and capable consensus on an issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vishwas. And now this paper is open for discussion. Any question? Then I request Dr. Suchitra Das, madam, to please present the paper.
Thank you, sir. Actually, it's not in paper. I couldn't make the paper as it should be in the seminar presentation, but there are some thoughts, and I shared the thoughts with you, and I suggest some suggestion from you that how it can be converted to a research proposal like that. So I was just thinking that how the startup business can lead to women mentorship, mainly in the Northeast India. So we know this startups is a good initiative by the government of India for supporting entrepreneurship development and on the pillar of three pillars, providing monetary support, incentive to different startups of the country, providing industry academia partnership, and simplification in handholding. So these are the pillars. Now, my paper, I actually try to focus objectively in my paper is that how these startups can lead to the issues that women actually have in the society. Uh, how the women can handle these issues and how these issues can be converted to a strength for becoming the entrepreneurship. So this is what I try to think like that. So as we know that in the northeastern India, entrepreneurship development is very weak. There are no such entrepreneur with regards to other parts of the country. And when it comes to the women, the figure becomes very pathetic. And these pathetic reasons are the well-known reasons, the issues of the women, that women are less access to so many things, education, health, assets, and so many things. And they are bound to do so many of other works like nurturing, caring. These are the issues. Now my point is that this nurturing, caring, suppose they are doing the home course. In the home course, what they do? They not cook food, they prepare food, they look after the families, they look after the babies, they look after the grand old persons in the home, even they look after the financial management of the home. These are the things they do, but without any significant, look after. No one looks on this, but it's such a there's a duty that they perform, and this becomes the issues of the women. Now, can these issues can be made to the strength? Can they make these issues as a startup? Say they can start their home, they can start a old age home. These women can do. They can do this. So these weaknesses can be converted to the strength. They cook food for the family. They can cook food for the whole. So they provide food. In the midst of Corona time, you can see we have seen that there are some online online delivery of home delivery of foods. So these things are made by the women. So these have been done in women do. So these issues can be converted to the strength and start the startups. This is what I am thinking. And if it go to the northeastern India, the women of northeastern India are quite different from the other parts of the country. These women of northeast India are these are such a matriarchal society where the women are led by the economic activities are led by the women. All the economic activities are done by the women, and they do so many of activities that are part and parcel of life, like weaving, handlooms, horticulture, honey making. Even they work in agriculture and food. So they do this type of activities, a part and parcel of the work. But they could not start it as an entrepreneurship. So, is there any way to think like how this can be converted into strength and this women can start a startup? Now we have SHGs in our areas. Can these SHGs be trained? Is there any way out? And research pay can be made here that how these SHGs are working, what are the gaps here? Can be converted to entrepreneurship development? And can they get into the startups? Can they apply into the startups and start it? I just went through some of the articles and I found that there are 4 women in northeastern India who are successfully running the startups doing this type of activities, which are the part and parcel of life of the lifestyle of the northeastern women, like cultivation. One of the women has started QE cultivation and she is preparing wine from that one. It is and it's registered in the startup. Other women is doing weaving, silk weaving. She is starting a startup. Another woman from Nagaland is making some home accessories. She has also entered into a startup. So these are being done by some 4 women in northeastern India. Can this 70%, nearly 66 to 70% of the women are doing this type of works in the northeastern India, mainly living in the rural areas? Can these women is there any way out? This can be converted to the startups entrepreneurship development. So this is my thought that I wanted to share. I didn't make a paper. I think lots of work can be done here. So this is what I wanted to share here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Any question? Actually, madam, we have given inputs for developing a few papers, right? So what you have said is that is from your observation. If you want to develop a paper, research paper, then you have to do some report, right? You have to search the literature. You have to do a thorough literature review, okay, and identify those research gaps first. Secondly, thing, you say that there are many points going on in our university on startups, and you see startup, there are some factors that influence your decision to start a startup. Okay, the most important thing is that your risk appetite, how much risk you are able to take, or your appetite for risk. That is again influenced by some other factors like your age. Okay, young people are they are likely to take more risks. The environment in which you are grown up, whether you are the first generation would be an entrepreneur or not. I mean, whether there is any more your father or grandparents who are into any business or not. I one day saw in Nahata in Silchar that the small kid, maybe she was hardly 3 years old. She was beautifully handling, the computer. Okay, she was collecting the bill. Okay, taking the payments, issuing the bill, and she was very confident. So those are the factors that influence your decision to study startup, right? Many of the work that women do in our household, actually they go unremunerated. Okay, so they do not have any monetary value. They do not get any value. But during Corona, as you mentioned, many women started, their journey, maybe home delivery business, online delivery. Okay, then many of them actually they were good at doing handicrafts at home. Then they joined the online platforms like Amazon, then Flipkart. Okay, the thing is that as a researcher, if you want to study what they are doing and what can be done, you can take some case studies. Like you have mentioned, the 4 women, successful women entrepreneurs. You can take some case studies, study their business model, study what they faced in the initial stages, what they are doing now, and what is their future plans. Okay, so if you study different case studies, then you will see that what are the challenges they faced. Okay, what are the factors that encourage them to do it, what are the challenges they faced, and how they overcome all those things. Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you so much.
So all the 3 offline papers have been presented. Now I think there is one more paper which will be presented online. Amar Ranjan De. Yeah. Mr. De, are you present? Are you available?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please. You will start now.
Okay. So my slide is visible, sir?
Yeah, you can start now.
Okay, my slide is visible?
Yes. Very much.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. First of all, good morning to the organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to present my paper in this 3-day seminar. So my name is Amaranjan De. I am from Dimapur. I am from Tetso College, Dimapur. So I'll be presenting my papers. The titles Startup Business, Government and Private Initiatives in Nagaland. Uh, okay, so just I want to highlight some of the fact that is according to the digital startup database, Genome's Connect Research and Analysis. So it is very happy for us, a very delighted moment that we are one of the youngest startup nation in the world. And then our 72% of the founder are less than 35 years of age. So 21% of the Indian startups are focusing on the global market. That is also the good sign for our country. And according to CAGR reports, 18% of increase in of the Indian startup focusing primarily on the global market. And then India also added third highest number of unicorn in 2020. So if you see this global innovations index. So in the high income economics, Switzerland is topping, but we are listed in the 46th in that index, and this is based on seven parameter innovations, human uh, effort, and then other six, seven parameters on that. It is all globally. It is taken as a rank. So we are at the 46th ranks right now. Uh, so for a country like ours, we are a developing countries, and this will be the backbone for our country if we can really come up with the establishment more and more startups or small business in our country. So this will also give the oxygens to thrive and flourish. Uh, yeah, that is also true that government right from 2016, so we have with the help of our honorable prime ministers give push to the startup in our country, and with this initiative there are many incentives for the new entrepreneurs or like startups to start their ventures. uh, yeah, there is also not the denying fact that there are various barriers or and bottlenecks with this that the stakeholder will face. Uh, so this is the objective my of studies, to know the status or to identify the status of in Nagaland, and to examine the issue and challenges that is faced in the state of Nagaland. Uh, so my research methodology is totally on the secondary data, and that whatever they've collected from the website reports and the publication and the Nagaland startup website, that is all on the related subject. That is all taken up for my research studies. Mm, So if you see the growth of startup in India, first let us check the growth of startup from 2016. From 471, we are now in 2020 till last year, 17,500, approximately 17,500 plus startup we have come up in India. So this is the All India uh, report. And if you see the age breakups on that, so if you see the age between 20 to 30, we are almost like, and if you just take 20 to 35, it will come around like 60 plus percentage that are taking up the startups in that young age. That is also the good sign. And if you see the age breakup, in that you can see 26 to 35, it is accounting for about 77% uh, of the startups in the on the women startups or women entrepreneurs in our country. And if you see the like gender breakups, the male is contributing almost, it is taking away like 91%, almost the 91%, and female are just 9 to 10% on that uh, in the gender breakups. And if you see through the educational background, so if here also is a very exciting to see is engineering graduate and MBA, they are contributing more in this area. That is, if you just check the as a percentage, it is giving like 61 percentage in total, and rest 39 is from the other backgrounds. And in country-wise, this is also this very proud moment for us. We are in the third country on the technology-driven based startups, but we are we are behind from just we are 10% of the United States. We are still to go far to reach those status. And on my objective was to check the status of the startups in Nagaland. So we can see from 2016, it is we are in the very nascent states, we can just say. So till dated, we can produce only in the state, we can just come up with like 24 in the 7 year from 2016 and to 2022. So we have just begun up. And then if you see in the state of Northeast, so Assam is leading in that, and followed by Tripura and then the Manipur. But we are just, maybe you can just check from the slide is fourth, we are in the fourth in that. Uh, And then in terms of employment generated, so in the northeast states, we are also lacking in that. So it's just now we can just see like we are just produced 90 out of that given startup, we can just produce 198 employee out of that, and in that also Assam is leading. Coming to the issue and challenges, before that, let's check the all India facts. The majority of startups are dying within the inceptions of 1.6 to 1.9 years. That is within 2 years, we can just say. And 55%, even though they are funded, they fail to uh, evolve as a successful startups. And 20% failed startups graduated from incubators or accelerators. And if you see the PwC report, fund raised of the by the late stage startup witnessed a 50% decline. That is very shocking in the last year. Even they are those they are funded, they cannot come up with the successfully. They are not making that much profit, and then those funding agency are also looking scrutinizing them. They are also just looking for like the visible profit. Those startup that can give the visible only they can be funded. Otherwise, they will decline funding to those other startups. And if you see in report in 2022, out of 23 startups declared unicorns, but out of which that is the sad fact that out of only four are making the profits. And if you see the Economic Times, December 2022, so one 17,000, almost you can say 18,000 uh, out of employees were laid out from 52 startups in India. That means they were kicked out from their jobs or employments, and which includes several unicorn and unicorn also. Like you can just, as an example, you can say like Ola, they have removed or they have fired up 2,100 workers. Blinkits fired up 1,600, Academy 1,150, White Hats Juniors they have kicked out 1,000, and many other companies like Zomato, Swiggy are in the process of sacking their employees. Now, funding winter, just we can say the 2022 is not a good sign for the startups to evolve or just to start up this, giving like kind of fear in their minds also. So these are some of the challenges in the state of Nagaland. One is scalability, that is failure to make scale their business, low market demand and sales, and then we have strong competitions. And coming to the funding and cash related issues, we have unable to suppose some of the startups unable to raise funds. And although we can just see the funding agency also just they're reluctant to give funds in that way if the profit is not visible or that startup is not coming up with a profit that can give the visible profits to the investors. And high there is also the high cash burn in that part. And coming to the third, that is business model related. So scalable business models, or we can say model not suited for the local market in Nagaland, and failure due to revamping the models. Just they are trying to restructurings or reorderings, some kind of revisings like that. And the founder and top management related. So that is sometimes there are differentiating opinion between the co-founders and the that disconnect with the investors, and there may be sometimes that just like lack of coordination between the founders and team support sometimes led to the downfall of the startups. And there are there are many external factors like regulatory changes. We know in a country we have many regulatory changes. The landscape of India's regulatory is very complex in that sense. Uh, and then we have insurgency problems in the states of Nagaland. We have lack of mentorship. We are lacking in the awareness to that extent. And there is also change in government norms from time to times. So if we come to the major findings, these are my major findings from this. A very few companies have their own ideas or concept. They usually cope the ideas of the concept of the other countries or other foreign countries. This is one of the major drawbacks for the startups to survive for long. And if you see in the portal that is Startup Indian in Nagaland portals that was launched on 2019, Mr. Tamjon Toy was the chief secretary at that point of times, late Tamjon Toy. He it was started with an objective to produce at least 500 uh, startups in the next 5 years. So we are in now 2023. It is almost 3.5 years now. So we can just through the portal, we can just see or observe that only 59 startup come up till date that is registered, and we are far behind on that. It is just that you can just 10 to 12% we have achieved in the 3.5 years. And also, I see that the current education system in the state of Nagaland, and we can just say in overall India, also part of the country, also to provide training among the student community to build up such necessary skill to build up its startup skills or the entrepreneurial skills among the number of potential entrepreneurs also seem to be have the brilliant idea of the products, but they have very little or like no business or market experience to market their products. So in that case, brilliant ideas prove worthless if it is not executed properly. So finally, 6 decade-long internship since the state was inaugurated from to 1963. Uh, there was an insurgency problem in the states that also makes the problems for the looking. That is a kind of fear giving in the mind of the those who are the potential startups to start the business, and there is also lack of proper infrastructure for big business, mainly affected business activities. Uh, So to conclude, just I want to say Nagaland as a states need to start up educations from the to promote startup in the states, and it should with the growing employment over the states, it is the ideal solution to overcome the crisis. And for that, educational institutions should come up or stood up to introduce some kind of practical oriented courses for the startup, which can really help upcoming generation focus on career, not only on seeking the white collar job, but will help them, the youths, to look beyond that. Educational institutions also can organize some kind of workshop or seminar by inviting the successful entrepreneurs who can also be the role model in educating the students. In this competitive modern era, not everybody is vocational to get the government job. Hence, with the emergence of a new startup, will not only create a job opportunity, but will also boost economic development in the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Now this paper is open for discussion. Any question? Okay, Mr. Day, it was an excellent presentation. I have one question here. You have shown that up to 2021, the number of startups they had a growing tendency, growing trend. But in 2022, there was a drastic fall. What could be the reasons?
Even the till dated, we have 100 plus unicorn in the country, and some there are unicorn in coming up, like they are in the they're transforming into unicorns. That is $1 billion company. So in that case, maybe you can just see the last year report. I just see many of those unicorn also not making profits. They are just making advertisements out of that, and then they are just putting the money from their pocket and to attract to the customers or the clients, and then in that way they are just having the cash burn from their pockets. When it comes to the balance sheet or profit and making, and that's we see the last portion of their expenses come up in that. In real sense, they want to come up with very successful companies, but in reality, in the fact is like that they can't able to meet their money expenses that is going out in order to attract the customers or clients, because two say similar or same type of uh, startups, say like Flipkarts and then some other similar type of, they are doing, suppose one they are both are giving the offer and something like that. If one stop the offer, then the this customer move to the others. So in that way, they are bound to give the this kind of offer, or like some kind of discounts like that to attract the customer. That is also they need to face problem in terms of expenses and all to attract the customers. This is my point of view, sir.
Is this due to the fact that recently there is a competitive interest rate hike by the central banks across the world? Like the Fed in US,
Yes,
they
yes,
have been hiking the interest rate that has been proved by the other countries like
yes,
India. So
yes,
is this due to the interest rate increase that not many funds are available now? So due
yes,
to lack of fund and also at the same time increasing global uncertainties,
yes,
the
yes,
number of people who would like to start up, that number is big. Is it into this
yes,
factor?
yes. You are right, sir.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
if the interest goes up, that means even suppose any startup need to come, like they have to pay the interest, whatever the loan they take up or fund take up from the government sectors or any other sectors. So that is also making them kind of they are relucting to just come up as startups. Not many people are like born in a like this silver spoon like that. Many of them have that idea, they have their thought, they have their concept, but they cannot convert that idea and thoughts into reality because of the investment or the funds they need for that startups.
Okay.
But of course, I
Yes.
think like yeah, these are also important for that. Yeah.
I think you can substantiate this point, from other studies. Okay.
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
very important. Due to the interest rate increase and also at the same time uncertainty about the business output. Due to this,
Yes, sir.
uncertainty. Yes, Dimple, your question?
First of all, Dr. Day, I would like to thank you for your beautiful paper. One of your
Thank you.
colleagues from the same college also, I think, presented a similar kind of paper in the last session of the 3 days seminar, and Professor Amir Sharma was from Guwahati University Research was in the session. Okay. So my query is that what is the number of startups in Nagaland? Because Northeast India is always a curiosity nowadays.
See, it is still 24. I have already shown in my slides, sir. It is 24 till dated.
Okay, okay. Only 24.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. So this is my, I wanted to know this.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Sir, I have one query. I'm a research scholar from Department of Economics, Assam University, Silchar. Well, at first, I'd like to congratulate you for your nice presentation. Well,
Thank you, sir.
in your slides, you have showed that there's IT-based and the MBA-based students are like graduates are doing more in
Yes,
startup
yes.
business, while others are lagging behind. So, what can you suggest for the other graduates so they can like what are the changes that you would like to suggest in the educational system for the other types of graduates so that
Yes, yes, yes.
they can also come?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. This is the expecting question. Actually, I was expecting this question also. Just see, if you are from the management or commerce background, those who are from them there, or even from the IT sectors, they are somehow they are related to that. Like there are some papers in the commerce or management related to entrepreneurships. Of course, there is in the base reality is that we are not having many paper that practical oriented that this new education policy or the new system should come up, or the institutions also need to think for that. That is the one reason. But always this background, the student from this engineering background, they have had to lead this thing because they have some base idea to get the how to get the startups and some kind of innovative things they learn from the theoretical parts of their in the college or like in the from their books. That is I think maybe one of the like reasons this kind this student this category of student are focusing more on the startups in the coming there'll be more to come up in this from this uh, uh, discipline. Yeah.
Okay, one thing came to my mind again when he asked about the number of startups in Nagaland, and he said only 24. So whenever you are presenting the numbers across states, like in Assam around 500 plus, in
Yes,
Nagaland
yes.
24. So when you are presenting data side by side across states, I think you should apply caution while analyzing those numbers because population-wise these states are different,
Yes, yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
yes.
Assam
Yes,
is more populous, it is plain state. Nagaland is not plain, it is hill.
yes,
Population
yes,
number is less.
yes,
So if you want to compare, then I think you can normalize those numbers. Maybe
yes.
per lakh. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay,
Ray.
thank you, sir.
I congratulate all the paper presenters here. I thank all of them, and I also thank the participants for their patient hearing. With this, I conclude this session. Thank you very much. Madam.
So we are end of this session now. I would like to thank our chairperson for bearing the pain with us a short call to chair the session with the laptop papers of the last sessions. Thank you so much, sir. I now request Sri Badapani Sharma to felicitate our chairperson with a memento. Sir, please. It's a memento. The Service of Economics and Development of Commerce. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our reporter for giving us time to make the report and my dear participants. Now we are going to start our next session, technical session 5. And our resource person is already here. I might now request our resource person, Shravanti ma'am. So within 2 minutes we'll start our next session.
Miss Payal, are you here? Payal Devnath, we can't hear you actually. We can't hear you. Can you please check your audio connection? We can't hear you. Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you now. Do you have any PPT with you?
Hello?
Do you have any PPT with you?
Sir, I am audible, sir.
Yeah. I am asking that do you have any PPT with you? Because you have just sent us the full paper only. But
What?
there is PPT. Would you mind share your PPT? Yeah, it would be better if you mail your PPT to us.
Hello?
It would be better. Yeah, I think your internet connection is a bit unstable. We are asking that will you be kind enough to share your PPT with us? PowerPoint presentation, the PPT.
Sir, I am
Kindly
not.
share your ma'am, I would like to request you please to check your internet connection. It is very much unstable.
Sir, my audio
Ma'am,
connection is.
yeah, your audio connection is good, but we don't have your PPT. Will you be kind enough to share your PPT with us? Please mail that to us. PPT, PowerPoint presentation. We are not able to hear you, ma'am. There is high glitches in your network connection. We are not able to hear you. We can't hear you, ma'am. We can't hear you, ma'am. There is a very low connection. We can't hear you, ma'am.
Sir, here network is not.
Okay. We understand. Okay. We'll take care. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Can I start?
So let us now start our next session. We amongst us have Dr. Savanti Maiti from Vidyasagar University. I will now request her to take her chair. Ma'am, please. I will now request Vidumani Haloi to felicitate ma'am with an Uttariya token gift and kit. I now request Dr. Anup Sinha to introduce Dr. Savanti Maiti among the August gathering.
Very good morning to all participants and all the teachers and respected all the dignitaries. I want to introduce one of the most eminent person in the field of economics. That is my supervisor, Dr. Sravanti Maiti. She is currently associate professor in the Vidyasagar University. She has been working in the field of education, in the teaching, more than 16 years. Before joining the Vidyasagar University, she was working in the Department of Economics in Assam University. She published various papers and also published various books in the reputed journals. And it is my privilege to inform you that my madam also published many papers in the Springer journals, but most important one is that she published one paper in Nature also. Being a person of social science, it is like a dream to all the social scientists to publish paper in Nature publication. And not she is not only my peer supervisor, but also the entire guidance to my academic career also. So I like to welcome my madam to our college, and we hope we'll enrich with the talk, enrich with the lectures given by her. So please give a big clap for her.
So I invite our today's chairperson before the technical session. Let us enlighten with some few words on startups.
Okay, I have some presentation because Onu told me, and for me he's Onu, for you maybe he's your sir. But I also learned so many things from Onu. I have no words to say thank you, and still I'm very scared because to my senior colleague as well as my teacher, my very beloved Sagarika madam and Raju sir. Raju sir is younger to me in age, but in profession he is very older to me. I always admire them, and for me it is a homecoming. It is. I was from Assam University. I am part of Assam University. Whatever I learned from them, it is like a lifelong journey. I learned how to conduct research individually from Raju sir and Sagarika madam. Sagarika madam is like Ma Durga. she, I can't imagine that she tells in anyone. She is such a beautiful lady, not in book but also in mind. And Raju sir, I don't want to say a single word for Raju sir because whatever I say, it will underestimate him. He's such a good researcher. So many things I learned from this Assam University, and I believe that very few people in the world live a life like Lord Krishna. I have Gokul as well as I have Mathura. Assam University for me is my Gokul, where I learned, where I brought up. And I have to go back to the Mathura because that is my birthplace. So I go back to West Bengal. But I never ever forget Assam University because it is my Gokul. It is very close to my heart. If you scan my heart, you will get 90% is Assam. I always believe that I love to be and say to be a representative of Assam. Whatever program I participate in my department as HOD, I wear mekla. Whatever the dirty look I get on that, but I prefer to represent my Assam. I love to be called as Assamese. I love to be called as a part of Northeast. Thank you so much, but I have a presentation. I would like to, this kind of seminar, what is the motivation? If you single one work on this issue, I will be very thankful to him or her, and I will think that my presentation is a successful one. Because if I can motivate on this topic to work, then it will be an achievement for me. So can I have the presentation, please?
Second. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention Arnav. Arnav will angry on me. And there is one similarity with Arnav. We share the same birthday. So this is the thing. In this case, when he wished me happy birthday, I am the luckiest person. I say same to you. Only few people can say that one. Okay. Okay. Ceiling Manan is now, spelling is now different type, but it is glass ceiling. So let me talk about the glass ceiling. Now it is about the women opportunities on glass ceiling, and in that course I will discuss how it affects the open up business for starting a business for women. So what is glass ceiling? Before going to the discussion of the glass ceiling, just imagine this ceiling is made of glass. Just imagine. So you can see the above portion, but you cannot go above portion. So that's all about the glass ceiling for women. You can see the upward, but you cannot reach here. So what is all about glass ceiling? You know, it is a metaphor. It used to describe an unseen yet unbreakable barrier for the women, particularly who are the high achiever in their career. And it was first coined by a feminist economics to describe the unseen barrier faced by the woman in high achieving glass ceiling, particularly observed in case of corporate house. So it was described in US economy, glass ceiling was extended. The concept was extended for both minorities and women. That is, minority women face extreme glass ceiling to break, extreme difficulties to break the glass ceiling because historically they are at the intersection of the two marginalized groups. First is what? First is women, and second is people of color. So, equal opportunity or equality, gender equality nowadays is very common term, and we would like to have gender equality. So glass ceiling is an obstacle to achieve the gender equality. Now this concept is not very new. 1839, George Sand first used, French feminist first used this word. So I have some little bit knowledge of French, and what it is saying that it is saying that you will the crystal impenetrable, but it is not the ultimate one. Who first used the term glass ceiling? It was Marley Lauder who used the term glass ceiling to describe the obstacles, the unseen barrier in 1979. Sorry. But it was first documented, published in 1984 by Gray Bryant, who was an editor of a women magazine. And when it was published, it got attention from the people. And controversy begins from 1984. Because some people are with the idea that it is myth, not reality. Because women are very reluctant to achieve career. They are very comfortable with family. They are very comfortable with living with husband, with children care, and they used to stay at home. They don't want to achieve career. They don't want to achieve something for them, and that is why they are respected. So next we have definition. So it was the United States Federation Glass Ceiling Commission who defines glass ceiling as the unseen yet unbreakable barrier that keeps women and minorities from rising to an upper rungs of the corporate ladder regardless of their qualification and achievements. And there are some points which David Carter and his colleague defined this one. What is most important, you know, that David Carter and his colleague found that earlier it was said that the minorities, men and women, both faced glass ceiling, but they found, statistically proved, that it is women who only face the glass ceiling. And if it is a minor woman, they face the maximum difficulties to break the glass ceiling. Now, what are the key points about glass ceiling? The first thing is that there is discrimination. You have to accept that, and that is proved by the statistician. And what are the reasons behind that glass ceiling? It is the stereotype mindset of the society that women are unable, or women are not comfortable, or women are not able to do public administration. It is the mindset. Second one is that this kind of thinking is irrational, that we all know. But what is the consequence of that? Its consequence is very serious because it is underestimating and underusing women's talent, women's ability, and at the same time it is creating a conflict with the prejudice, with the rational administration. Now, how can we break it? Simply by authorization, simply by changing the mindset, simply by creating an environment where the woman can perform their job. So by abolishing gender discrimination, we can create that kind of environment. So where we can find glass ceiling? Glass ceiling we can find
gender division of labor, then gender relation of power, then emotion and human relation, gender culture, and symbolism. I would like to discuss this gender division of labor. You know, some of the works are identified as women's work, and some of the works are identified as men's work. Like teaching job is woman, nursing job is woman, babysitting is the responsibility of woman. So these are the society mindset. No one told you that it is woman's job, and we are also satisfied that being a woman, I should choose a teaching profession. It's a respectable one. Clear? So this kind of mindset, that are gender division, genderization. Again, with respect to power, you know that what we say that classic bureaucracy is genderized. Genderized means higher powerful positions are occupied by men. Hitler is a man. So higher positions are occupied by men. And if at all there is any position for women, then it is a subordinate and powerless position. You know, I'm not disrespecting Mao Zedong, but Mao Zedong once said that what are the work of the women? They are for the comfort of the men and to give birth of the children. So from that mindset, you can get the idea what is the position of the woman. And this is the societal mindset, and for a long time, women also accepted that. Yes, this is my position. So reason, we should know the reason. The society, as I told, that society always respect women for spending time with husband, with children, with household work, like that. And if a woman is very much career-oriented mind, then we start criticizing that. She is not doing her duty like that. We also face, we are from teaching profession, we actually accept society's mindset, but even after this, we also face that kind of crisis. That they are not spending, if you are not, your husband is not, I also face that question. Both of you are from Assam University, then why you quit Assam University and came to Vidyasagar University? And they start talking about it. There must be something fishy in their relation, otherwise why she came here? Like this. So this is a very common attitude, you know, woman cannot do her work or cannot take care of her family alone. That is the mindset. A preference of a boy child gives unwanted girl child. So many unwanted girl child. That is the common thing. We consider boy as a old age caregiver, as a old age insurance for us. Second is that it is the governmental law enforcement bodies like court, parliament, police create a climate we do not enough attention for gender equality. And third one is that you know you have to break the barrier, and this is the barrier is the organizational barrier. And you by only creating law you cannot change the barrier. You have to take forward step. You need some Vidyasagar, some Ram Mohan Roy, so that you can achieve the equality. Equality not through in paper. You need to exercise that in reality. Okay. This is the economics. Since I am economics, I believe in estimation and all these things. So, you know, you can measure this glass ceiling. You can measure. So, and that was made to measure the glass ceiling. And as a consequence of that, we get 4 development indices. One is gender development index, gender inequality index, global gender gap index, and last one is the glass ceiling index. Yes, we have the glass ceiling index. Unfortunately, only for OECD countries, but we have. I shall discuss that one. First 2 indices was developed by United Nations Development Programs, that is UNDP, and included in Human Development Index. The third one is developed by World Economic Forum. And the final one was developed by the Economics, the Women Group of Economics, and with the cooperation of World Economic Forum. So, Gender Development Index, we all know that it measures inequality in 3 dimensions of human development: health, education, and command over economic resources. And I'm not going to discuss in details that estimation technique are, sorry, what happened? Okay. So then gender development index are there. Then gender inequality index. It also very interesting because it reflects the gender-based disadvantages in three dimensions. One is reproductive health, then is empowerment, then labor market. What is interesting, it is ranging from 0 to 1. So lower the value, more the equality. 0 means perfect equality, 1 means perfect inequality. And India is in good position because its value is 0.490 and ranked 122. So in good position. So we are moving towards gender equality by paper. Reality is something else. Gender gap index was developed by, as I said, that it was developed by World Economic Forum, and it is very difficult to measure. So many indicators are there, and the process is also very difficult. I am not going to consider. If you feel interested, you can get it. And then the global glass ceiling index. Glass ceiling index. What is the beauty of the glass ceiling? It is identifying the areas where equality is required. Clear? It is identifying the areas where you need equality. That is the difference between the earlier index and this one. And it was developed in 2019, not much more back years ago, only for the OECD countries. So the areas are like higher education, labor force. There is a term, STEM. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are the areas where women's participation is very poor. Very poor. Because it is thought that science lab requires a long time standing work and women are weak. So they cannot stand and conduct research in science. So science, technology, engineering, and in mathematics, these are the fields where women are participating less. STEM is the area where you can work and you can get scholarship also. STEM is an area where scholarship is more available, particularly if you want to participate in Fulbright, then STEM is the area where you can participate. This is the area where you can explore. This part is women participation is very poor. So these are the area where, that just check business school application, representation in senior jobs. These are the areas where equality is required. And if you want to know that which is the place for women paradise, this is Sweden. Sweden is women paradise because they rank top in terms of the glass ceiling index, that is lower amount of glass ceiling. So this OECD country's position in that here, you can apply econometric model also there. I'm not going to in details that one. This is the glass ceiling representation. Man is getting a ladder which is larger than the woman's one, and you are expecting that she will achieve the same position of the male. You are not giving the ladder, and how can you break that one? You have to break yourself. By that way, you can break the glass ceiling and can overcome your barrier, the unseen barrier. Okay, so let me come to the application one. Here it is the application part. Startup business. And I have taken the marginalized group, and this is the part of SHG BLP. And this SHG BLP nowadays are registered under Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission under the Ajivika. Ajivika means self-employment. So they are not creating the self-employment as well as creating opportunities of job for others. So that is what startup business. The funding they are creating the group and they are conducting their work. So here are the objectives. We have considered two issues here. SHG-led microfinance, financial inclusion, and the second one is more important for clustering, social inclusion. Whether social inclusion is happening or not. So that is where we are doing. We have considered three central Assam area, that is Assam, Nagaon, Morigaon, and Hojai. And sample size here is 825 with 335 participants and 490 non-participants. Two self-developed indices was developed by Financial Inclusion Index and Social. Actually, we measure the Social Exclusion Index. So sum of the indices equal to 1. So social inclusion equal to 1 minus social exclusion. By that way, we have obtained the social inclusion, because whatever indicators we have, authorized indicator or published indicator, they are for social exclusion. So for glass ceiling, we need social inclusion, and that is why we consider we first measure social exclusion index, and 1 minus social exclusion is the social inclusion. So we have used PSM here. Here the participant and non-participants one. These are the results, and I am coming to the, yes. Just look at the result. Financial inclusion ensured, but social inclusion not. So even SHG participation, even you are financially included, it's a far way to go to make yourself socially included. So glass ceiling is there, invisible barrier is there, and we just suggest something which is not so important. I hope I have completed my presentation within the scheduled time. So that's all from my end. I hope there are questions. Raju sir will ask questions.
I can ask you later on also.
Oh, yes, of course.
A very interesting topic, madam. Actually, I was not aware of this term, glass ceiling. Um, is it possible to apply this concept empirically in the Indian context? Because as you have shown, there are some variables needed, and I guess that many of the variables data are not available in the Indian context or available in the country context. So
how can I go earlier this way now?
Is it possible to have some modified kind of variable which are more relevant for countries like India and apply this concept?
Okay, I'm showing you that if you want to do the glass ceiling now, you can do it. Okay. Escape, can I do the escape? A table one, how can I get the table one? Oh no, not here. Okay, let me check that one. How can I, this one? No. How? Full screen? Oh, thank you. So go to earlier. Yes, just stop here. Sir, you can check here if I can include it, some variables here. You can have the glass ceiling index value, because nowadays it is extended for developing countries, and India is high ranked developing country, so it's almost developed, because we all published our paper and we know that we are not entitled to get any APC like this, wavering in APC like that. So upper rank in India. So India's glass ceiling index is there. And the mean value is there. You can consider 1 or 0 in that way. Or by indicators are, as I mentioned here also, the indicators are, you can get these indicators. Not so this higher education, participation in higher education, then labor force participation. How many, whether you are working from primary data also, for paying job and non-paying job, that household job are for women like that. So that you can get child care cost. Child care cost you can calculate. If you are not taking care of the child and you are employing any babysitter, how much you are paying? The mother is not going to get a single penny for that. And if mother is a working woman, it is like the responsibility of the mother to pay the, in case of Onu, I don't think so. Onu is observing me, it's ma'am, you are just opening up my clothes like that. No, Onu is paying, I guess. Okay, that will be confirmed by Pratiti, but it is the responsibility of the woman to pay the babysitter. So that you can get. Some of them are you can get, and maternity leave is there or not, and how many days leave, that you can construct the index, and then by constructing that index you can use this econometric model. Okay, that way, and you can consider some variables here in your choice. Here I didn't include, but I can supply you the variables. I couldn't remember the variables, but I can supply you. Some variables are there. Okay. Empirical work is possible. Application is SAT one form of application in startup business. In other case also, in corporate world, it is also possible. Any more question?
And really wonderful discussion, deliberation on the topic. That is really, I think this topic is new for most of the participants are there. Really wonderful ones. You told that these women are not so much, that is, they are reluctant about adopting technology because they don't want to stay.
No, that is the mindset of the society, and some of the women has also accepted because it is, whatever we are working outside, at the end of the day, after coming back to the home, if helping hand and doesn't turn on, then it is the responsibility of the woman to cook and to serve the other. And she takes that responsibility. She takes that one. Okay, so it is the mindset of that one.
So, ma'am, if there is so much barriers to adopt this kind of technologies and so on, so to start a startup, it is very necessary to adopt technology also. So, without because if the woman wants to break the glass ceiling, one of the way out is the startup business. So, for that, technology could be one of the
Yes, of course. And that is what what we have considered. We have considered the women who do not work, housewife, and now they form the group SHG, and they are starting up their business and getting loan from the bank, that is SHG group loan, and now they are distributing. They were not habituated this kind of situation. Financial inclusion is very obvious. The person poverty alleviation, financial inclusion, employment generation, that are the common things checked in SHG. That are very common and obvious. The person who was not earning a single rupee, now she is earning, so poverty will be alleviated, income will generate. Employment, she was not working and now she is working, so employment generation is also done. She doesn't have any financial practice. Now she is improving her practices of financial inclusion, having a bank account, having use of ATM. These are very common. This is very common. But the ultimate goal, SHG background is what? First of all, we need to know that. That is the Rawls theory of justice. That is the Rawls theory of justice, which is saying that if we say it in very common language, dog lovers hate cat lovers, isn't it? So dog lovers do not want to like to stay with the cat lovers because their behavior are different. So what is Rawls theory of justice? Rawls is saying that dog lovers should able to stay with the dog lovers, cat lovers should able to stay with the cat lovers. So the ultimate societal situation will be the optimum. And came almost at the same time like capability approach. However, Rawls was the father of a church. And everyone thought that he is talking about some Jesus Christ things, all these things, some religion things, and they excluded. It was again came in 1981. After 1970, I did the capability approach, 79, sorry, capability approach. So it came later on. But the thing is same. Ultimate society is the difference principle. That is, we give maximum opportunity to the lowest one, so that the lowest one will improve and get the capability to cope up with the underdevelopment. Clear? So that is what. SHG is a way to break the glass ceiling for the marginalized group. What I said, that women and marginalized women face maximum obstacles to break the glass ceiling. I request Sagarika to ask me some question.
No questions, ma'am. The only thing is, no, I'm loud enough. I think I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
I just have one interest in your sample size, which is quite large, 825. So I'm interested in knowing whether that is a part of a project that you have done or is some PhD work.
Yes, it is a part of. That is why from the beginning I say we. It is June Karman's PhD work. But this objective was not part of these you know, and that was not registered. At that time, we couldn't able to calculate because I said, now it came in 2019. The glass ceiling concept was very earlier, but ultimately, when it is not measurable entity, those who work in empirical field, for them it is to relate with that, it becomes difficult. We work in empirical field, so that is why after 2019, it becomes very interesting, and you will get papers on glass ceiling economics application, also econometric application also.
And probably when we are working in a developing country like India, even when we are developing the glass ceiling index, probably we need not stick to what indicators they have used.
Exactly. You have to, that is a researcher's point of view. You have to consider where the glass ceiling, the beauty of, you know, yes. The glass ceiling, the beauty of glass ceiling is that you have to identify the field where inequality exists and where you need to work. Then only you can, you know, if you are saying that primary education, enough number of women enrollment, girls enrollment is there in primary education. It is not about the primary education. It is about the higher education, where we find the glass ceiling.
That tells me, ma'am, it could be done community-wise.
Yes, of course.
Interesting area.
So that, you know, the problem is that I said, no, minority women faced extreme because people of color and women. Okay. I hope at least one will work on this issue because this is really an interesting topic. If you learn more, you will enjoy that. Thank you.
No question, madam. Actually, I still have to thank you. And a very warm, welcome and for taking pains here to Karimganj, and so for bringing to us a very, very new concept, that is glass ceiling, and it will, I think, open up new, dimensions of research in the, women empowerment and all these things. So, two, three, madam, I want to, your comments and all these things. I'm very much, illiterate in this area and all these things. So, is it not a very, kind of that you say that women are restricted to go higher posts and all these things? And so, one example is that our one of the finest prime minister of India, there is Indira Gandhi, was there,
Okay,
in the history of independence.
From your point of view, currently we were working on women political participation, the influence of women's political participation and COVID control. এই পায়ের সাথে কানের গেট বাঁধার মতো করা হয়েছিল আর কি, দ্যাট ওয়াজ আ পেপার। পায়ের সাথে কানের গেট বাঁধা, আমরাই তো পারি এরকম করতে, সেটা আমরা করেছিলাম, দ্যাট ওয়াজ আ পেপার। And two versions of that published in two journals. One is BMC Public Health, that famous journal, that medical journal, and another is Socio-Economic Planning Sciences, whose impact factor is 4.9. So only by that, and then we did nothing. We conducted efficiency analysis there, that is how much death rate control, one by death rate, less the death rate, more the efficiency. And that time we considered that we should represent the number of chief ministers. That is, women chief minister. Then we find only West Bengal. And then we decided, then though it is impossible, then we considered MP MLA position. And what we find, MP is insignificant. MLA was very significant. And because of that, although death rate efficiency is something else, I mean, not by the number, by the performance, relative performance, we find West Bengal is the second position. Empirically. So, women empowerment, we commonly use, but the term is not good. It is autonomy. Me, Sagarika madam are autonomous. Or questionable whether we are autonomous, because we have to take care of the society, we have to take care. I have to take care of my dushtu husband also. He controlled me. I also control. It's not like that, vice versa. Raju sir will disagree. He is a very good friend of him. And he লাগিয়েও দিতে পারে, বাড়িতে খণ্ডযুদ্ধ লেগে যেতে পারে, সেটাই কে জিতবে বলা মুশকিল। And at the The tear, chocolate jol, the strong effect. We will win by that. So that is different thing. So you talk about Indira Gandhi. I will say the Margaret Thatcher. Then tell me more. And then if you go to take the name of the
President also.
Currently the president.
and then another one, and then name. So why not 50-50? And I want to say about the empowerment. We say empowerment, we are autonomy, we are not empowered. If my autonomy transmitted to others, then it is empowerment. Otherwise not.
That must be also linked to madam, ability and efficiency of that person to reach
Not
that.
only that, একটা বউ না রাত্রিরে গিয়ে মানে তোমার বাড়ির কাজের লোকটা গিয়ে তার বড়ের কাছ থেকে হেভি ঠ্যাঙানি খাচ্ছে, and she believes that it is very usual to পুরুষ তো মারবে। এবার সে এসএইচজি করলো, she participated in the SHG, earned income. Is she autonomous or empowered? She is autonomous. She couldn't take the decision of divorcing her husband. If she takes that one and influence the other, and the other person also divorce her husband, then also it is empowerment. Otherwise it is autonomy. We are autonomy. We are autonomy. We have autonomy. But we believe that if autonomy is in large number, that will transmit it to empower. So linkages between the autonomy of two is create a empowerment.
Okay.
Clear? So empowerment is big term. We should not use it. We should be very careful while using this term. We should know the ultimate definition. And empowerment, when we measure empowerment, we have to consider the political empowerment also. Should we cast our vote according to our choice, or should we cast our vote according to the news channel's choice?
News channels.
So,
Husband's choice.
Or husband choice, or the village head's choice, isn't it? Or the Raju sir is not smiling, Raju sir is angry with us. Raju sir is not like that, he is very good husband. This is null hypothesis, you have to test it.
But it's a very good concept.
I hope everyone, some people will include this in
innovative
I mean, that is what you should involve yourself in. You think of research, you learn something, and that is the use of such seminars. Getting money and doing seminar is not the ultimate goal, I guess.
Thank you.
And please take your seat. So thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentations. And for especially our honor students are enlightened. They have learned a lot. Actually, how to prepare president seminar paper, how to present, how to enlighten the gatherings. Especially, this is the one of the second motives of organizing this particular platform. We are trying to give a platform to our honor students so that they can learn how to represent the academic field and how to use the academic platform. So without wasting the time, we are going to start our technical session 5, which is dedicated in the memory of Instagram Bhattacharya Memorial Technical Session 5. So in fact, in this particular session, we have 7 papers. Now out of these 7 papers, 4 papers will be presented in the online mode and 3 papers will be presented offline mode. Now I am going to hand over this particular list to our research person and hope this particular session will be fruitful one. Thank you.
Dear participants, students, we are going to start our technical session. The first presenter is Dr. Altaf Hussain. I'd like to request him to come in front of the dais and give his presentation.
Very good morning to all of you. Respected Chairperson, my dear colleagues, my friends, participants, students. So, first of all, let me give my introduction about my topic, that it is agriculture at farm level in Barak Valley of Assam and efficiency measurement. As you all know, that agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy. No need to give any new introduction regarding the topic. Enough discussion has been made, enough research work has been made over the years. Nothing has been left, but still as a researcher, I did my research work in 2015, and that time, after searching and searching and searching, we find out one topic, and it was related to efficiency, farm level efficiency measurement. Since, as you all know, that India is basically a country which is totally dependent on agriculture. Whatever discussion we used to take place on regarding different topics regarding manufacturing sector and other sectors, but we all agreed to one particular point, that it is that India depends on agriculture. Since Mahatma Gandhi much earlier, he said that India lives in villages, and the villages lives in agriculture. So this agriculture somewhere, through theory, we find that agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy or the economy of Assam, or basically to Barak Valley region of Assam. But that agricultural developmental work, farm level efficiency, why and how, these are all theoretical matters. Practically, we found many things are missing. So anyway, here I have taken this topic and this opportunity to present before you something on farm level efficiency, and it is that agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy, since 90% of our people who are in the rural areas who are dependent on agriculture, and they are 50% people directly they are maintaining their livelihood from agriculture. But that agriculture, when we see that there are so many points where this agricultural productivity, that is called efficiency, when we say, that is the production level or output level is not up to the mark. And this is because of many more factors, and for which we have surveyed, especially in Barakbali region of Assam, where we have surveyed around 500, more than 1,000 schedule we have collected, questionnaires we have made, we have collected from 3 districts, and there are 6 radio circles we are there. From there we have collected the data and the informations, basically based on those farmers who have land and who have the agricultural materials of their own. So collecting all these informations, visiting to their places, we found that this agriculture is somewhere efficiency level is below mark, that is at a poor level, where we have considered labor, fertilizer, pesticides, irrigation, tractor and polo. These are all essential things which generally nowadays an up-to-date farmer or a modern farmer, as we know that today's world is a globalized world, even the farmers, they are also very much up-to-date and modernized. They even use the tractor, which is basically a common instrument for the farmers. But it was a time when people were plowing, people were cultivating the paddy cultivation with the help of bullocks, cows, and all instrument or techniques of which generally are commonly used. But that productivity level, when they were cultivating by using these methods, definitely, and we are agreed that our efficiency level was, that is the production level was below level. That is very poor level of productivity we are getting. And that is why most of the time we found that in a family today, of course, it is not there. Many agricultural families where people 5 are there, which is called generally disguised unemployment. Generally, so many people are there, and almost all of them are smaller more, little or more. They were engaged with the agricultural process, but at the end of the process, season, we found that due to so many natural calamities, due to monsoon condition, the productivity level is coming to an end. Irrigation facility is a very important factor for high rate of agricultural productivity. But theoretically, we used to say this, that irrigation is a very important thing. But if we move across this Barakbali region, how many irrigational plants are there? How many people are using the fertilizer, pesticides, or improved HIV seeds? That's a great question. So, considering these 6 points, labor, fertilizer, pesticides, irrigation, tractor, and polo, we found that, in our study, we found that, especially labor, fertilizer, pesticides, and irrigation, tractor, these 4 points, these 4 constant, we can say that these are having a significant result by using these things. The farmers, those farmers, if we compare, that those who are using the old methods and those who are using tractor, so there is a huge difference in the productivity level. Those people who are giving water or using water by making canals from the rivers, by using power pumps, and those farmers who are using the irrigation facilities. Very recently in villages areas, in some villages, those who are related to village areas, you might have seen, very recently government has started the irrigation projects. But these are also not up to the mark. Functional process is very much delayed. Farmers are not getting the proper facility from the irrigational plants. Of course, just simply for showcase only. These things are made in the big areas. People are nowadays, even you see it is a rainy season, but due to the monsoon condition, the farmers, they are facing lots of difficulty. So considering all these things, it has been found, and a conclusion type we can say that most of the farmers, especially Barakbali region, somewhere it is neglected because of geographical area, because of poverty level, and because of agricultural technique, know-how. Though agricultural departments are there, I hope you won't be surprised that at the time of collecting the data and the information, many agricultural offices we have visited. By taking the permission from the authority, we visited the places and they were unable to give us the information. Even most of the information, whatever we have got from them, these informations are year-wise just simply placed on on the yearbook, or they will just simply make a printed copy. Here only year will be only changed on the top of the heading of the paper, and the data and the information almost will be same. So somebody may raise question to me that even a layman also can simply reply that due to the shortage of irrigation, agricultural productivity may be declined. Very simply one can pass a statement. But the question is that when we have visited the offices, we get the data. On the basis of this data, we have come to a solution. By placing it into a model only, we are coming to this. Of course, those who are related to research work, you all know it very well. So simply coming out automatically when we put the figures in the methodology or in the method model, we will find out the result. On the basis of that result, we can come to a conclusion. But the conclusion which is saying that by using this HIV seeds, agricultural productivity will be higher. And by using the old method, agricultural productivity will come down. This is a very common, simple statement, even a layman can understand. But the question is that when we visited the places, we are failure. Even after repeated requests also, they said that this is the data, year-wise we generally make, and this data you take, on the basis of that you do your work. So, finally, we must say that the agriculture Barakpeli region, especially Barakpeli region, though theoretically we say that this much land is there, this much productivity is there, but ultimately and originally we all should be agreed that Barakpeli region still depends on agriculture, because agriculture is the backbone of the nation's economy as well as Barakpeli's economy. But due to these factors, the productivity level are very low due to urbanization, due to modernization, the interest of the people for doing agriculture. And recently, I think you will be agreed on what you have seen, that nowadays paddy you see, government is giving so many facilities to the people, even the farmers are not interested to even go to the field. Even most of the, you will find that barren lands are there somewhere in the roadside. Even 10-15 years earlier, almost all the lands, you see, this is the month when we generally in Bengali we say that it is Ali, it is called. Ali means that is the paddy plants. This is the time. In this month, generally in this month of May and June, these are the months where we have to throw down the seeds for paddy plants. But in these months, not only this month, even after the months also, you will find that land after land are barren, only the children are playing the fields. People are not cultivating. Most of the people, they farmer, they will say that what we should do after cultivating. Because last year's paddy is still there on the go down. Year before last year, paddy is there in the go down. So cultivating after cultivating, what we will do? Who will purchase the paddy? And storage facility is also not there. So ultimately, paddy will be eaten up by the insects. So who will store? Where to sell? Because paddy is a such type of commodity you can't store for many years. So who will sell? Price of the paddy rice in the market is very low. Government is giving them the rice on the one side, and the poor people, they are very happy. Farmers, they are well satisfied. So ultimately, who will cultivate? Ultimately, you will find that the productivity level nowadays is coming low and low. If this process continues, discussion will be in one side and practically it will be in the another side. So my appeal to all of you, we should make an awareness to the farmer that you please come to the field, do the cultivation, because if you cultivate physically also you will be fit, because after all health is also wealth, as we all know. So that this land should again be reused, people will cultivate, productivity level will be slowly growing up. And agriculture, which is very essential for all of us, whether we agreed or we disagree, and that message should go to the people, that awareness is the most important thing, because if this process continues, then who knows, 10, 15, 20 years, many of the small kids, we have to take them to another district, another places to show them that you see, this is the paddy, you see, this is how people cultivate, this is paddy plant, these days are coming. So that message we should send to the people, to the farmers, because we born in the farming family, we have lots of affection for farms, and we also have enough affection for these lands where paddy few years earlier were cultivated. So with these few words, I must stop here. Thank you to all of you, and thank you to Madam.
Any question from anyone's end? Any question from anyone's end? Yes, please.
Not enough time.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Adab Hussain, for your observations. So you see, there are many observations regarding the current scenario of agriculture in southern part of Assam, particularly. So we can also, these are known facts. These are known facts, and they are always we tell that there is migration from our region to our place to some industrialized cities. So using Harris Todorov model of migration, this is we can theorize the incidents. This is also research. So theorization can be done, and taking the case of Varakity region. So lands are barren, and this is I think this is a very current scenario, and that the situation is getting precarious day by day. There are so many reasons attached to these things. Intense competition, all these things. If incentive is not there, nobody will go to the field. It is the incentive. That's why we are studying, that you will get a job and all these things. If your profit is not there, incentive is not there, then you will not go to the field. Number one. Number two, why migration is taking place? Empirically, theoretically, conceptually, we can theorize. Being the academician, our task is to theorize. Theorization is our academic exercise. Then the government may think that these things are not. This is a different thing. Our task is to, formally theorize these things. If you see any problem, then economic logic you apply, giving the earlier theoretical foundation like Aristotle model, can we apply here? Or in our region, does Aristotle model, there is migration and agriculture, does it fail or does it work? So these theoretical things we can do. So these are some observations. Very nice observations. These are from mine. These are observations. Thank you, sir.
I have one queries. First thing is that you said labor. So in case of agriculture, we have to consider family labor as well as hired labor. First thing, you have to define these two things. Second thing is that it is labor hour or the quantity, number of labor, what you have taken for your study. This is my first two questions. Second is whatever you presented, it is your perception. It is completely your perception. So why should we take your perception? That is my question. We are the researchers. We are not the politicians. So we are not going to discuss our perception. We will talk about data. We will talk whatever documented here, and based on that, our observation. I should encourage you to conduct research in this way. So first question is whether you have taken family labor or the hired labor.
Family labor.
Family labor.
Hour is considered.
Hour.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So you extend your study. This 2015 is long, na? So you have completed your PhD. Now you have to move on. Efficiency was my area of interest, and I move on. I conducted also efficiency in agricultural sector. That was tea industry, but I move on. I applied in social sector and all these things. So I should suggest you to move on and conduct this research once again. You may not get whatever you are saying. We don't have agricultural insurance. Why we are blaming the agriculturists, the peasants? We should blame ourselves. Okay, so heavy rain or no rain leads to a loss, and that consequently that gives the suicidal to the peasant. Why you are not saying that one? That is documented. That is documented. Na? So you should restrict yourself from perception. Clear? Otherwise, you are worthless.
Really wonderful explanation. As we know, due to the modernizations, people are moving from agriculture to the other sectors. But still, agriculture is very important because we get our food from agriculture. So, according to your observation, and almost we all know that the people are moving reluctant to agriculture. So, rightly pointed out by sir that if people are not getting profit from their work, then how can they will do that work?
That's what I earlier mentioned. The market is also sorry, not available. People are not able, farmers are not able to sell their produce. Enough cultivation suppose due to when the climate condition is very good, flood is not there, nature is also favorable to them. They are getting a good quantity, good output is coming up, but they are not getting the market to sell it. And ultimately again the question of government is directly or indirectly coming. Recently government said that they will purchase the paddy. But when farmers they are going to the storehouse to sell it, there are so many protocols, there are so many processes that the farmers become bothered. They left the paddies. I have enough examples. I myself have personally seen it practically. That they sent that they're throwing away the paddy in the storehouse and came back. They said that with this price, even the whatever the labor charge I myself have given to this paddy cultivation, that is also not coming out at a very low price. Government is trying to purchase, and on the other hand, process is very difficult to maintain. Again, they are saying that paddy quality should be very good. So our illiterate farmers and generally a farmer who is a very illiterate fellow, how he can maintain all this process? So this is again.
I just want to say that it is the time to move from our traditional farming to the modern farming. We cannot stick to the paddy farming. It is the time to move from this paddy farming to the horticulture farming and the animal husbandry also. Then, in that way, we can utilize our land, we can fulfill our food requirement and all these things. Because paddy farming is nowadays is so much costly that is, most of the farmers are not willing to do. But in our local area, the most of the land are so much used with pesticides that fertility already.
So I just have mentioned that awareness is very important.
Yes.
So for that we have to reach to the people, reach to the farmer. That what is the village area? Somewhere some awareness will definitely give. It's a very good concept. It's always been welcome. So we can go to the farmer, we can give them the message, we can tell them. Then automatically they will also be influenced and they will be encouraged. Because illiterate farmers traditionally from generation wise they are following a method and ultimately they are not getting benefit. So we have to give them, go to them, give them the message. Being your the entire paper is my personal perception. It's of course, but it has a relevance in the society. We should go to the people. Tell the farmer that you see this is good, this is bad, this is profitable, this is loss. Earlier your entire family were dependent on one farmer, head of the guardian. Today many people are there. Two you go to for entrepreneurial work. That is why NEP you see they are saying that in NEP it is also there. Then whoever choose whatever the thing, whoever choose, he or she should be given the advantage. So definitely if the farmers are given such type of awareness, I hope within a very few years, almost all the farmers, because their human labor enough is required. So ultimately they will always welcome. So thank you to all of you. Sir.
Just getting to your point, yes, Dr. Hussain, and taking together of you, it's a very important point raised by Dr. Sinha here and Dr. Hussain. This is the very purpose of this seminar, that is startup. So traditional, crop diversification and all these things, we can find out the problem area. From yesterday's lecture, I attended yesterday a very beautiful lecture that problem solving attitude. So we have to find out the deficit here. Fruits, imported from outside the district. So surveys, studies can be conducted in these areas. use of from animal husbandry, what is the current status, actual figure. Don't rely on only government figures and all these things. Then milk, then horticulture, floriculture. These are the some high paid agricultural fields, allied activities. The time has come. Actually, the very important point, and here the purpose of this seminar, that is startup business, actually suited well, and your observations are also fitted in this.
Thank you, Bhuvan sir. Thank you.
Next paper, please.
I would like to request Ganeshwari, ma'am, are you here? Ganeshwari, ma'am, are you able to hear us? Ma'am, ma'am, are you able to hear us? Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Ma'am, are you able to hear us, Ganeshwari, ma'am? Ma'am, please respond. I'd like to request our next presenter, Dr. Ningama Singha. Are you present here? Yeah. Do you have PPT, sir?
Very good afternoon to everybody over present here, respected chairpersons, my dear colleagues and other dignitaries over present here, and also the students present here. My paper is a joint paper. It is a joint paper. Myself, Dr. Karimganj, and another one is my colleague, Mr. Hussain. And my topic is the organic and the natural farming in Assam, the prospect and the problems. Previous speaker has already talked about the scenarios which is going on. That is just now that is Dr. Altaf Hussain sir have already talked, and with that counter and the impression that is the Anuj and the Dipon also. No. Somehow that is the agricultural sector relating its application is talking about it. But here nowadays we are very much concerning about the organic and the natural farming. Now, just by giving some introductions, and I will come to the what the discussion just now we are discussing here. What were the prospects and what were the scopes by doing this, and why not depending on the agriculture, that is the paddy production. We can also lots of scopes, and government also taking the lots of incentives and programs for the other prospect that we have already discussed here, horticulture, dairy, and other things. Now, in organic and natural farming, is everybody knowing about it. It is recognized as one of the best alternative to the conventional agriculture, where the cultivations and process of quality of food without any harm to the soil, health, environment, animals, and human itself. The farming method of the production promotes and improve the ecosystems and the eco-friendly. Now coming to my paper here, I will discuss about we'll try to focus on the overview of the organic and natural farming systems and its prospects, status, and also the problem faced by the farmers while practicing this farming system. And coming to the Assam, and before going to the Assam scenario, I am just talking about the country scenario. That is, organic and natural farming is the holistic production and management system, which is the supportive of the environment, health, sustainability. Nowadays, organic farming is quickly developing. In the today's 172 countries in the world produce the organic food. As per the estimates in the census report of 2014, and there were 43.7 million hectares of organic agriculture land. Countries with the most organic agriculture in the country is Australia, and the next is the Argentina, and next coming to the that is United States. And organic farming system is not a new, and it is being from the ancient time. With this now I'm coming to the our Assam case. Recently in the 2016, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared that Sikkim is the India's first and fully organic state, implementing the organic practice on the agriculture in the 2016. In the Sikkim, we everything is bad. Using of the chemical, pesticide, or fertilizer, what everything is and all the farmers they have to be take the organic certificate from the gov side. After taking the organic certificate, they can do their farming. And with the initiative of the Sikkim government, also Sikkim is already based one of the India's first fully organic base. Every using of the chemical pesticides, fertilizer is banned in the Sikkim state. Coming to the point of our prospect in relating to the Assam, the process of organic farming has suddenly picked up across the Assam, and especially among the cultivating of the ginger, turmeric, orange, black pepper, pineapples. Beside the growing demand of the organic tea due to the medicinal values, a number of small tree farmers of Assam to produce the organic tea. That is the Konkan tea state is one of the example of an organic tea state in Assam, and which covers 8.8 hectares organic tea cultivation located in the Pancholi, Prajakpur, and Saripur district. Hatikuli tea state is also another example of the organic growing tea state of Assam. The total of 45 organic growing tea states are found in Assam, which account the highest number of the organic tea state among the nations. Assam grows almost all the food except a few such as the wheat, onion, potato, etc. using the indigenous farming techniques. The principal food crops which include the kernels, vegetables, spices produced in the state, the rice, maize, pulses, potato, etc. Now these were the prospects, and now coming to the problems which were faced by the farmers of Assam in relating with the organic and natural farming in Assam. The major problem faced by practicing the organic and natural farming in Assam are lack of awareness. Lack of awareness among the government policy makers, and practicing farmer is the major cause of the restricted growth of the organic farming. The lack of the awareness among the consumers about the organic food products falls background and and marketing problems and shortage of the menus, and number three, less sale production and a high input cost, inadequate supporting infrastructure, and finally come to the conclusion. The growing demands for the organic production in the international market have opened up a new scope for Assam to fulfill the demands of the consumers and environmental sustainable advances in the productivity and portability of the organic production will have to generate both value and income. Uh, here, we are talking to the mic before starting of the mic. I have already talking about that. The Altaf sir and that is Dipan sir and the Anup sir have talked about that. We have already know about the scenario, what's going on, and why the people were not interested to do the agriculture. And Altaf sir has already talking about the just paddy. Now, government also taking the loss of incentives about the now paddy is not a good kinds of food for ourselves, because here in the cholesterol level is there or carbon dioxide is also there. It's harmful. Though we are habituated with the rice, there another option is coming out from the government side. Millet, international millet. Millet is one of the most important
that is resourceful nutrients and fibers and everything is there. And here in the I suggestion from my side that in the seminar itself we are here for the discussion and theoretically, and also we are discussing here theoretically but practically some lacunas were there. And it's my request that if we are by theoretically we are by book knowledge and theoretically we are expressing here, but somehow we can stock out some the youths who are quite interested in the agriculture, and with the help of them and from our side we can initiate, we can aware to them, we can take the opportunity, what were these opportunities, job opportunities, what were the system, then we can by investing like in agriculture sector, we can have lots of job opportunities which we were doing in a good way by taking the organic certificates, by taking the fossil certificate, by taking the smart way of methods, and by attracting the quality based product. If you say in the market, talking about the market problem, if you were producing a good market and good product, and everybody is welcoming, everybody hurry to take all these things. Because as a teacher, right now I'm a teacher from the Karimganj college, but as a hobby of my concern, I myself started this organic and natural farming. I have the 4 barley bed in my home, and I also using the barley compost culture while producing the my organic things. That is some exotic plant which were I am planting in my farm around we can say 2 kr. That is 2 kr in local version. And here I am using cultivating, that is that ginger, broccoli, beetroot, lettuce, and capsicum, and tomatoes, and many of things which were presently right now I am producing from the my field, is that the capsicum, that is beetroot, carrot, and all. And also if within the some now the central government also now introducing that Fasal Bima Yojana. And now the National Agriculture Mission. Now is the Agriculture Mission where all the marketing channel can be we can launch in a this NAM registered in a NAM, and by also we can also forming the some kinds of the society or the organizing company sector. Then the government also giving lots of subsidies and lots of incentive. We can do it, and here we are worried about taking about local food, local mass, local chicken, local food. When we are seeing in the market, we just want to absorb it because by without concerning about the price factor of that product. Why this is happened? Because we are worried about our health. But nowadays it is also question is coming. The whether we are consuming the local food is totally hygiene or it is a totally savable one, because nowadays due to the unknown practices and with the local producer we are using lots of chemical and also without, because they don't have the knowledge for the producing of the largest production. Here is the concern about it. If you yes, within the 1 minute I'm showing you. If we follow the some, that is the government rules, rural regulation, that is by taking the organic certificate from the government side, and also the what were the things which should be used for the organic farming, and also if you take the first, then the quality is already measured, and by taking these 2 steps, only the organic certificate and the first, our quality will be measured by the authority. Then we can launch in the market, and definitely we can face any problems. The lots of demand will be coming from the customer side. We just need to be supply more and more. And with that initiative, we can also create lots of job prospects, and also we can give lots of job opportunity to the another from another perspective. Thank you. With this, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, wonderful paper. I hope you will work further on this issue. We came to know about the organic farming. This is a new field of research. Thank you, sir. I now request the next presenter. Any question, Dept? Okay, I now request the next presenter to present his or her paper, please. Or no, please. Ask the next presenter to present. Is there any online presenter?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Sure. Okay, ask him.
Whether you will present in session 6 or
Sarup Bharali, are you able to hear me? Sarup Bharali? Sir, are you here? Are you able to hear me?
Ask him to unmute himself.
Yeah. Please, can you present right now, or you want to present in the next session? We are not able to hear you, sir. We are not able to hear you. Yeah. Sir, we are not able to hear you.
He muted himself, no? Or unmuted.
online ভিডিওটা আছে লিস্টটা আছে কি কি আছে
লেখা রয়েছে।
Next offline presenter Nandita De. Ma'am, are you here among us? Nandita De. Then the final presenter, I guess, Dr. Anup Sinha.
Thank you one and all to give me the opportunity to present my work here. Actually, I did some simple work here due to shortage of time. My topic is trend and regional variation in the export of handloom products in India and exploratory studies. This paper is actually a joint work by me, Godapani sir, and my wife, Dr. Prakriti Sinha. Just before we start my discussion, just a little bit introduction of the handloom industry. We know handloom industry is one of the most important industry in India as well as in the globe. Due to the increasing demand of the handloom products, not only in the domestic market but also in the international market, the demand for handloom products increases continuously. Besides, the handloom sector provides employment to major section of the population, about 65 lakhs in India, directly or indirectly. Although the handloom industry faced lots of challenges in the past years, nowadays it is now one of the trending industries in the global market. Being the oldest half for the handloom industry with lots of handloom products, various startups who have already taken up themselves to uplift the artisan community. Given this background, the objectives of my study are: first one is to explore the trends of export of handloom products in major exporting countries. Then to understand the growth and instability of export of handloom products in India. Then lastly, to investigate the regional variation of handloom products. This study is actually based on the secondary data which are collected from RBI. And the form of handbook of statistics on Indian economy. For the studies, we have used simple regression analysis, and to measure the instability, we have used Karimanj index and analysis of variance. So first, for the first objective, the results are shown in the table 1. Here you can say that the trend here is almost positive and significant for all the major exporting countries, except this Hong Kong and Mauritius. That is, the trend is negative. This is due to the fact that although the demand for handloom products are increasing globally, Indian handloom products, but they are facing lots of stiff competition from the other countries like Sri Lanka also. And besides that, if we look at the trend of handloom products, export trend, it is negative in the Hong Kong. This may be due to another fact that due to some issues of border conflict between India and China, is also another reason. Maybe we can consider. In the next slide, we can see that the growth rate of handloom products in India. I have considered the last 5-year growth rate. Here we can see that for almost all the countries, growth is positive, but for countries like Germany, Hong Kong, Italy, it is negative. Although it is positive growth in major exporting countries, it is very necessary to know whether this growth is stable or not. So this is undertaken by the Karimanj index, and we can see that the instability is high for Bangladesh. Although here we can see that the growth rate is very high, but this is unstable. And again, it is the instability is low for Germany. That is, even if this growth rate is negative, and it will be stable for the long period of time. So here is the pie chart for major exporting country. Here we can see that the India export most of its major share of handloom products to USA, followed by Bangladesh, and least is for Hong Kong and Japan. Since we have seen lots of variation in the export of handloom products in the major exporting countries, we have considered the analysis of variance to see the regional variations. If we look at the F statistics, which is significant, which implies that there is lots of variation of exports of handloom products in the major exporting countries, and within the countries, the variation is high for this USA, whereas it is lower for Japan. This is actually very simple study. To conclude, our analysis shows there wide variation of export of handloom products among the major exporting countries, and the growth is almost positive for most of the countries except Hong Kong, Japan, and Italy. Although the export is growth of export is positive, but we find there is instability in the growth rate. This implies that although we are able to sell our products in the global market due to increasing demand, but in the future, in the coming future, we may not be able to export our handloom products in the global market due to cost efficiency and other competitiveness. Therefore, it is highly recommended to make our handloom products to cost effective, and we need to utilize proper marketing to utilize the various sources like the e-commerce platform to introduce the products of handloom products in the global market.
Very good presentation. I now request questions from audience here.
First of all, it's a very nice study, and I think it's an emerging area, and I don't have any much idea about the handloom, how much work have been done in this area. I think less number of works are there, in this area, and particularly handloom. So one observation is that state-wise data of handloom products to other countries export. State-wise data.
Yes, that was really a very good topic, but due to unavailability of data, it is not possible.
Because we know that the
Yeah.
northeastern region is
Yes.
Is northeastern contributing this?
Yes.
I think it's Karnataka.
Actually, I was trying to do a state-wise analysis, but due to lack of data and lack shortage of
Like
time.
RBI data handbook is an aggregate data.
Yeah.
So it will get India to export to the other countries.
I
States
searched also, madam. I searched for another study that state-wise export data, not handloom, but aggregate
Yes.
export. State-wise, I searched, but this data is not
available.
comprehensive.
Yes.
It's not comprehensive. It is very some disaggregated data published by this ASI that this data is there. But
Some
CMI
ASI data is there.
CMI is there. The India state government, but it is paid.
Yes.
Some of the-
CMI data is there, but it is very expensive.
Expensive for
Yes.
us.
You can apply for CMI through institute. It is impossible for an individual to pay that amount. Institution payment is there, and if you have such kind of data bank, you will get NAC pointers. So if you can convince, yes, because 2 years of HC teach you so many things, particularly for NAC. So if you have data bank, that kind of data bank that carry some point in NAC, good, that's a 10-point scale. So having this can change your ranking also. So you can try this one through institutions. Okay.
Our ideas are there, but due to lack of data.
Yes. Those who are doing empirical study, data is the prime concern, and that is you have to have some authentic data, authentic source of data. Otherwise, it is very difficult to carry out this one. I agree with you. I agree. Oh no, can I suggest something?
Yes, sure.
First thing is that you have considered the 5 years for growth analysis.
Yes.
Theoretically, it is not possible. You know better than me. At least 10 to 15 years we consider. Second thing is that in your study period, pandemic happened. So a shock is there.
Yes.
So structural break is there.
Yes.
Maybe because of that you are getting this kind of unrealistic results. So first though you cannot do the A analysis, the structural break analysis, but I'm sure you will get a structural break. So you will extend this data, conduct structural break, then use the split function approach to compare before and after structural break. It will be very interesting.
Actually, I have considered data from 1981 for the trend analysis and other analysis variants, but for growth analysis I've used just 5 years ago due to shortage of time.
No, growth analysis you should not do that. The growth analysis minimum 10 to 15 years you consider. 15 years is minimum. If you can include much more data, then it is applicable. Time series is a very dangerous one because time series data are the estimated one. That is why we need a separate branch of econometrics. For cross section, we don't need that because these are all estimated. GDP is the income of a country. Can you ask India what is your income? Who will answer that one? If I ask Arnav what is his income, he will overestimate that one because he is unmarried. So he will overstate that income. Okay? Isn't it Arnav? So Arnav will overstate that income, but he will. But India will not. So we have an estimated data. And if you do estimation, you will conduct some wrong thing. So that is why we need econometric tool to minimize the error. That is the basis of time series. So 15 years is minimum. So if we extend this study, it will be very interesting because it will include 2 or 3 structural break period. And that the result will be very interesting. Okay? That is my suggestion.
Yes, now also I will actually it is very necessary to conduct unit test also
Yes.
because it's a time.
No, for only 5 years you don't need.
No, data is from 20 to 25 years. Just for group purpose I use 5.
Okay.
Not for entire study.
Why not?
Just because due to
time lag.
Because organization has this.
He wants to have a paper also and organize this also. Okay, otherwise it is a very good.
Kaneshwari ma'am, this is the last call for you. Are you here with us? Otherwise, we would like to end our session. So I here now request the Assistant Professor Hema Hazarika from Department of Economics to extend a memento to the chairperson, Dr. Shravanti Maiti, Associate Professor, Vidyasagar University. So we are at the end of this fifth technical session. So right now I'd like to extend a vote of thanks. At first, thank you, ma'am. Maiti ma'am, she is like a mother to me. When I was doing my masters in Assam University, Silchar, she always like pampered me, scolded me, and then like whatever I am today standing in front of you is because of her teaching and her good motivations and everything. So a very big thank you, ma'am, for taking all the pain to come over here. This is the first institution where I started my journey in economics, and finally, you being here, it's a mesmerizing thing for me, and for the students also to get introduced with you. This is a very wonderful opportunity for the students. I like our students to interact with them. You will get so many good insights, not in terms of academics, but also in terms of other aspects of your life. She is like always a mother to me, and she still is, and she is always will be. Now I'd like to give thank you to our reporter Pinak sir for taking all the pain in listening to all the participants and making a report. And finally, the lovely audience, the participants, thank you for your kind presentation. So I now conclude this session. Thank you.